Okay, so welcome to the channel, people. My name is Gav, Sneaky Gav, and just thought I'd do a quick intro video to provide some explanation as to, well, why I've made a channel and what it's about. So it's a pretty simple principle. Ride road better. Kind of makes sense to me, won't make sense to you. So to explain, we'll start at the back end. Better. I like to do better. I like to do better in all aspects of life. And hoping by making this channel that I can learn a lot and help me do better. So feedback, comments, advice, always welcome. I know a little bit. I forget a lot. We can always be reminded. So the object is to do better. So I want to do better because, why? I've got kids, 2 young children. So I need to influence them in a positive manner. The world, as we know, is a little bit mental at the moment. And we're going through these digital changes, which are, I guess they're unprecedented, of course, but you know, how do we navigate this road ahead in the best manner? Okay, so the best way is to have an open mind. The best way is to be emotionally mature, and the best way forward, I think, is to be constantly learning. I don't think we have any choice. We always have to learn. I've got 1 child with me now. Hence one of the challenges of trying to manage a job and children and exercise. Unfortunately, I have to apologise about the glare because the youngest of children has just turned the lights on. So anyway, that's a short introduction. The next bit of information is probably relevant. So it's why ride? Well, humorous. Some of them would be funny, but numerous injuries just dictate that riding a bike is what I need to do to keep fit and healthy. So you can be fat and wealthy or fit and healthy. I'd like to be fit and healthy and also wealthy. Wealthy in knowledge, wealthy in experience, financially wealthy, of course. The wealth side, well, you know, it is what it is. It'll get to where it needs to be when it needs to be. However, fitness is something that can be addressed immediately. So I do choose to majority of my exercise to be road-based road cycling, because that gives me the best ability to, well, physically do it due to injuries, but also to maximise the time and effort. So I can't run, can't currently swim, but I can ride a bike. So that's what I do. I can ride a bike indoors, as I'm doing, or outdoors. So why road? Well, doesn't really matter. I like to do gravel. I like to ride road bikes. I'm not got anything against mountain bikes, but at 52, well, let's just say, maybe not so much time to learn those skills, and the vulnerability that you have and responsibilities don't allow you to fall off as regularly as a younger person. Okay, so speaking of that, falling off. So I'm trying to make this video now with noises in background and interruptions, because next week, speaking of falling off, I did fall off and I will be having some shoulder surgery to repair the damage. The damage occurred is basically multiple, but essentially what we're doing is we're putting the long head of the bicep tendon back on and doing some repair work to the shoulder joint to stabilise that. So because of that, I will be at least 6 weeks in a sling, and that will somewhat limit my ability to ride, but we'll give it a go anyway. I've gotten ahead of my schedule in terms of what my minimum required distance is for the year. So we're We banked a few Ks already early this year, and the tragedy of all this is that the form's actually pretty good. So I guess that, sorry, it's not super steep, but haven't been that well this week, so it's a bit of an effort to talk and ride up the hill. So form, okay, where are we, what are the stats, all that. What are the basic layman's things we need to know about myself as a cyclist? So you're waiting for the FTP. Okay, what it should be and what it was last time I bothered to calculate it, and probably isn't today. The FTP was sitting within the last 6 weeks around 310, and my weight's about 75 kilos. So there you go. Do I think that number matters so much? Not really. I'd be more interested in what data, or the data says, from 8-minute power efforts, 5-minute, etc. I think my program is pretty basic. I tend to follow what I can do when I can do it. As long as I'm trying to exceed that 250k a week. One sort of strength session and one mixed effort is ideal. You know, throw some sprints in as you can or whatever. Doesn't mean that's how I wish it to be forever, and I would like to subscribe to a longer, more fixed program. Anyhow, that's where we're at. That's what we've got to look forward to. I think I'm not back on the road until June the 5th, I believe, as a minimum, and I'm pretty excited to see, with the use of 2 shoulders, what I can get to. My plan through this period is to ride, obviously, my 300k plus a week. I probably won't do much work that entails hard sprints, just because of the risk of rupturing and damaging the surgery. But I will work very hard on, you know, the zone 2, zone 3 sort of areas. You know, maybe low cadence efforts up climbs, some overs and unders, and see how that pans out. Also, I have a plan is to drop some weight. It's potential I can get down to about 70 kilos, and then from there, as part of the recovery and rehabilitation of the shoulder, I'd expect that we can put a couple back on. So, you know, what's the end goal? Where do I want to see myself at the end of the year? I think a target, if FTP is the magic number, is to have a watts per kilo of 5. So that means 70 kilos, 350 watts. If I can get anywhere near those numbers, I'll be damn pleased. If I get halfway between here and there, that's fine. Better is better. So as to the weight loss business, how do I achieve that? And these are future videos, of course. But as we wear and tear, as we get older, one must realise some activities you can't tolerate as well. And probably the first change made was stop drinking alcohol. The reality is I'm never going to be piss fit, as they say. It is for some people, it's not for me. I like having a beer or wine. I love the social aspect of it. But realistically, if my health's to improve, it had to go. Not to say I'm never drinking again, I'm just saying it's on pause. So why is it on pause? Well, apart from injuries, there is also some issues with anemia, and I'm addressing that in a few different ways. So basically trying to make myself better, healthier, and I'm achieving this by breaking old habits, alcohol, Monte Carlo biscuits from Arnott's, if those of you in the know that. Pastries, it's just a reduction of these, replacing them with whole foods. Obviously, complete avoidance of ultra processed foods wherever. And I've recently made the decision to go gluten-free, and not because I think I have celiac disease. I think I have some sensitivity to gluten, and what's defining that is I've started to supplement iron as part of the correction for the anemia, and there's been no change in my blood results. So all we can do is eliminate these symptoms one by one. I am holding my fingers pretty tightly crossed that is the cause of the lack of absorption. Anyhow, that's probably enough said for now. I just needed to get some content in and make a bit of an explanation. So those who are interested in or on a similar journey, of a 52-year-old or 50-plus cyclist who is liking to perfect what they've got left in terms of their physiology or physicology, and how I can learn better to maximise my time, given the juggling nature of life between being a professional and having young children. Still doing something for yourself. So I'd be very grateful if you liked and subscribed. I'm not doing this to become Mr. Beast or to find myself as a self-supported influencer. I'm doing it because I want to do better, and I'm also doing it because I'd like help. I'd like some help to do better. So my ears are pricked and I'm ready to go. We have one challenge coming up, which is quite a large one, which is going to be pretty interesting. So I might be a bit slow on the videos, or they might just be short videos. But anyway, thanks for listening if you got this far. I hope to catch you next time. Sneaky Gav, out. No, sorry, that was a reference to Joe from China Cycling. Now I have to add him in my hashtag. Okay, thank you.